biggest mistakes companies make when it comes to trying to improve job satisfaction and motivation. Many managers believe that by fixing hygiene factors, you can increase someone's salary, but that won't make them feel more engaged with their work, except maybe for the first 5 days. And then what? Many organizations still seem to miss its essential message. Companies all over the world think if we improve the work conditions, like installing a new AC system or reduced bureaucracy, employees will be happier and more motivated. But the truth is, while reducing stresses like bureaucracy can prevent further dissatisfaction. So let's dive into why this happens and what management should be doing differently. Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of The Mammoth in the Room. Nicholas Bocconi, CEO of Mammoth Leadership Sciences. Today, we finish up on our 3-episode series on a topic that's absolutely essential for anyone in a leadership position. We're talking again about motivation. And we're going to have a little bit of fun today. And therefore, we call today's episode How, with 100% certainty, demotivate your workforce. How's that sound? It might sound a little strange, right, for a podcast that's all about leadership, motivation, and creating healthy work environments, but that's exactly the point. Today, we're going to break down one of the biggest mistakes companies make when it comes to trying to improve job satisfaction and motivation. I'm talking about the widespread misapplication of Frederick Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. Herzberg's theory has been around for decades, and while of course research never stops and additional theories emerge and we're able to complement this theory, many organizations still seem to miss its essential message. And when they do, they end up demotivating their workforce instead of inspiring them. So let's dive into why this happens and what management should be doing differently. Frederick Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory, often referred to as the two-factor theory, suggests that job satisfaction and dissatisfaction arise from two distinct sets of factors. Motivational factors, also known as satisfiers, are elements that truly inspire employees, making them fulfilled and engaged in their work. These factors include achievement, recognition, the work itself, responsibility, advancement, and personal growth, relatedness. When these factors are present, employees are more likely to be motivated, satisfied, and high-performing. Hygiene factors, on the other hand, or dissatisfiers, these are basic conditions that, when absent or insufficient or just bad, lead to dissatisfaction. These include salary, company policies, working conditions, job security, and bad interpersonal relations, for instance with your boss. Crucially, improving these hygiene factors doesn't lead to higher motivation or satisfaction. It merely prevents further dissatisfaction. And here is where the misunderstanding begins. Many managers believe that by fixing hygiene factors, they'll automatically increase motivation. But as Herzberg's theory shows, improving hygiene factors can only neutralize dissatisfaction. They can't generate motivation. Now, let me break this down further. According to Herzberg, no matter how much you improve hygiene factors, they will never transform into motivational drivers. You can increase someone's salary, but that won't make them feel more engaged with their work, except maybe for the first 5 days. And then what? Another increase? You can reduce bureaucracy, but that won't make people feel more passionate about what they do. But that's the key misconception in many organizations, the assumption that hygiene factors can somehow evolve into motivational factors. Companies all over the world think if we improve the work conditions, like installing a new AC system or reduce bureaucracy, employees will be happier and more motivated. But the truth is, while reducing stresses like bureaucracy can prevent further dissatisfaction, it doesn't address the root of motivation, which stems from things like personal growth, challenging work, relatedness, recognition for effort. So let's be a little bit specific and let's talk about a specific example which happens all over the world constantly. Let's take bureaucracy. Many employee surveys point out that people feel frustrated by too much red tape. In fact, I can guarantee you not one employee survey in the world will turn out highlighting how positive the employees feel about their bureaucracy. So what happens all day, every day in companies is that the company sets up a task force or a work stream to tackle the issue. The goal, reduce bureaucracy by 30% and make things easier for employees. Sounds like a smart idea, right? But here is where things start to go wrong. Even if the organization successfully reduces bureaucracy by that target, 30%, which, by the way, would be the epitome of bureaucracy reduction almightiness, there's still going to be bureaucracy left. And it's still going to be seen as burdensome. Employees are still filling out forms, following procedures, and dealing with layers of approval process. So while the burden may be lessened, employees aren't going to feel motivated just because there's less bureaucracy. They still feel the same baseline frustration with the bureaucracy that remains. In Herzberg terms, all you've done by reducing bureaucracy is addressed a hygiene factor. You've removed some dissatisfaction. But this effort won't make employees more motivated. And here is where we come to the crux of the problem. Many companies believe just that if they fix enough hygiene factors, whether it's salary, working conditions, or bureaucracy, they will see a more satisfied, motivated workforce. This is a dangerous assumption because it fundamentally misunderstands human motivation. When companies focus all their energy on fixing hygiene factors, they end up spinning their wheels. They may stop people from leaving, but they won't inspire anyone to stay or to perform at their highest potential. And can it even get worse? Trust me, it can. When management identifies an issue like bureaucracy, it's common to ask the people who raised the issue to work on fixing it. So employees are now expected to form work streams, sit on task force, or lead new projects to solve the problem, which made their lives miserable in the first place. Let's take an employee named Kevin. He's a sharp guy, hungry like a shark to work, but he's overwhelmed with the bureaucratic processes that slow his work down. He raises the issue in an employee satisfaction survey, expecting leadership to take it seriously. Instead, Kevin is asked to build a team, so he pulls his buddies, Lori, Barbara, Mark, and Robert, and lead this team tasked with reducing bureaucracy. Here is why that's problematic. 1, Kevin already feels overwhelmed with his work. Now he has another project on his plate. Not only does this not solve the initial problem, but it adds more stress to his day-to-day responsibilities. In many ways, this makes the problem worse because he's being asked to tackle bureaucracy on top of all the other bureaucratic tasks he's trying to complete. He's actually made to a complicit of the problem. And then 2, even if Kevin and his buddies manage to reduce bureaucracy by 30%, which we have said would be a masterclass achievement, as we discussed earlier, it won't lead to greater motivation. Once the initial excitement of reducing red tape wears off, the remaining bureaucracy will still be a source of frustration. Think about it. Instead of jumping through 9 process hoops and loops, you still have to jump through 6 of them. Instead of spending 9 hours, you only spend 6 hours of boring, down-slowing stuff. By asking employees to fix the very things that are stressing them out, companies are creating more work for their people and deepening dissatisfaction. And as we've seen, addressing hygiene factors won't make employees any more motivated. This is how companies unintentionally, 100% with 100% certainty, demotivate their workforce. They fail to address the real drivers of motivation, things like recognition, autonomy, relatedness, and meaningful work, and instead put more pressure on their employees to fix the system. Now, let's talk about where the responsibility for this situation really lies, with management. Often when employees raise issues in surveys or one-on-one meetings, leadership responds with superficial solutions. They set up these task forces, form committees, and wait for the work streams to deliver the results. Management pretends to take an interest in the issue, but then takes a step back, allowing the employees to do all the heavy lifting. It's a lazy, hands-off approach that shirks responsibility. The truth is, the responsibility for fixing hygiene factors and addressing the root causes of dissatisfaction should fall squarely on management's shoulders. I mean, they created this mess. It's management that sets the tone for company culture, policies, and work processes. They are the ones with the authority to make real changes, not the overworked employees who are already struggling with their day-to-day task. Management's role should be to create an environment where employees can thrive, not to push the burden of fixing system issues onto the very people struggling with them. This means taking a proactive role in identifying and solving problems rather than relying on work streams and task forces to do it for them. So what's the answer? Hiring less lawyers? so you don't build up them damn processes? No, again, fixing hygiene factors won't never create an environment where employees can intrinsically motivate themselves. The answer is focus on the motivational factors. Herzberg's theory tells us real motivation comes from things like autonomy, recognition for their effort, personal growth, relatedness, and responsibility. This could mean offering leadership development programs, providing employees with more decision-making authority, or simply giving people the opportunity to look outside the box, learn something outside of their roles, give them more leeway for creative solutions, etc., etc. And then management should take full ownership of fixing hygiene factors like bureaucracy, salary, or working conditions. Instead of offloading the problem onto employees, leaders need to roll up their sleeves and get involved. This could mean revisiting company policies, rethinking approval processes, or investing in new tools to streamline workflows. The key is that management takes responsibility for solving these problems rather than pushing the work onto their teams. I mean, it's safe to say that very management created that mess, so let them fix it. And then one last thing. One of the most powerful motivational factors is trust. Employees need to know that when they raise issues, management will take them seriously and act on them. This means moving beyond surveys and work streams and making tangible, meaningful changes that improve both work environment and the overall employee experience. And employees need to trust that when they are asked to give honest feedback, that they will not end up with more work because management is too lazy to fix it. So, in summary, again, the widespread corporate approach to motivation, focusing on hygiene factors like bureaucracy, working conditions, or salary, misses the mark entirely. No matter how much you improve these things, they will never turn into real motivators. Instead, companies often end up frustrating their employees even more by asking them to fix the very problem they're struggling with already. That solution lies with management. Leaders need to stop setting up these BS work streams to fix hygiene factors they themselves created in the first place, but instead start taking responsibility for the systemic issues that are holding their people back. By focusing on true motivational factors like autonomy, recognition for the effort, personal growth, relatedness, and taking ownership of fixing hygiene factors, management can create an environment where employees feel valued, engaged, and motivated to perform at their best. Thank you for tuning into this week's show. If you found today's discussion helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your network. Until next time, lead with empathy, inspire with purpose, and cultivate motivation from within. And lastly, if you're interested in more, you can order my book. It has the same title as the podcast, The Mammoth in the Room. It offers a practical roadmap how great leaders and their teams embrace evolutionary truths for outstanding business results. And it does that in 3 sections: on people, on strategy, and on implementation. Thank you very much. Nicholas Bocconi, The Mammoth in the Room.